Welcome in, builders. This week we're taking a look at late age Yomen, human Daimyos. Finally, after throwing off the cruel rule of the Oni kings and overthrowing their successors, the Bakemono, the Yomen humans are ready to become one of the best nations in the Middle Ages in age too late. Dang it. Let's see what's going on here. The rice fields of Yomen were the first to be attacked by the Bakemono onslaught. After years of slavery and mistreatment, the human inhabitants rebelled as the Bakemono had once rebelled against their Oni masters. One by one, the Bakemono tribes were replaced by human daimyos and their sworn warriors. A strict feudal warrior society replaced the disorganized rule of the Bakemono kings. Even war has become ritualized, and peasants are largely left in peace. With the coming of the new god, the daimyos have joined forces and look for other realms to conquer. Apparently, we ran out of budget because we spent our entire budget on national spells. Spoilers, we have a lot of national spells, so we couldn't afford much flavor text here, apparently. For national features, we are humans. This is very misleading because we are also sharkmen and shrimpmen and crabmen and dragons. So we actually have quite a lot going on here. Our military is made up of light infantry, samurai archers, samurai infantry, samurai cavalry, and ninja assassins. For magic, it says weak astral. We have astral 2s. It's fine. We have some earth, some nature, some fire, some air, and pretty good water, actually. We have access to pretty much everything except for easy access to death and blood. Everything else we can kind of finagle our way in there with our national summons, our mini national summons. Our priests are average. We can recruit priest level 2s. We build primitive forts. Now, this is slightly less bad than it sounds because we can actually build up to castles. So we're not Mictlan or something like that. However, man, a citadel would sure be nice. It would sure be nice, especially because commander point wise, we have a few things that are a little overpriced, kind of, sorta. So castles are okay for the age, but we are behind. For sites, we have the Temple of Pure War. This gets us the Sohei and produces an air gem. And we have the Mountain of the Mystics, which gives us the Yamabushi, an earth gem, nature, and fire gem. So overall, okay, we only get 4 gems, unfortunately, but that's not unusual in the late age. And we get fire, which are useful, earth, which are useful, nature, which are useful, and air, which are useful in general, but for us, especially useful, having those air gems. Units and sacreds. We have a lineup that would absolutely slice and dice in the Middle Ages. However, it is not the Middle Ages, it is the Late Ages. Let's see how they compare. Starting us up, we have the humble Ashigaru. Surprisingly okay troop, all things considered. Dirt cheap, 8 gold, 11 resources, 5 recruitment points. You get a slightly worse than regular human. These are kind of like peasant level, so a little bit low on HP, a little bit low on defense here. Otherwise, a base human. They're wielding a Yari, which is a length 4 weapon, and they're actually okay with them. Yaris give you +1 attack, so 11 attack with 16 piercing damage. Okay, I'll do that. We can have a chance to get a repel. 11 attack isn't the worst to try to repel with, and 16 piercing damage is okay for actually hitting a line troop. Mainly, these are your cheap option, not your best option. But repelling can be useful against certain types of troops, for sure. Barbarians, maybe you can have them take a cavalry charge. They're cheap, and they have a chance to repel that lance. The Ashigaru armor and the Jingasa are pretty actually good pieces of armor. A theme with Yomi, our troops are quite encumbered, actually. While we have good armor, it's pretty encumbering. So 5 means after 4 or 5 rounds of combat, we're going to hit 20 fatigue, and we're already going to start taking combat penalties. So just something to be aware of there. But very cheap, easily spammable. Even your crappiest fort could pump these guys out pretty well. Maybe a unit that you'll have to use while you're clearing your cap circle just to get yourself off and running. Overall, surprisingly okay. And at least, like, as this nation's militia equivalent, we still have 10 morale, which is a big thumbs up there. Next up, we start in on the samurai troops. First one is Samurai. He has a Naginata, which is a length 3. Now, he only has a 9 attack. That's unfortunate. It's very important you actually hit troops. I know, surprise, surprise. And you can't really take advantage of your length 3 weapon if you only have 9 attack, because you're unlikely to get a lot of repels. But it does have 22 slashing damage. That's all right. We are now fully up into human stats. We are wearing our samurai armor, which is 15 protection, minus 2 defense, gives us 3 encumbrance. So encumbrance of 6. Again, map move is only 8, so another thing that's a little bit iffy there. But 10 gold, 19 resources, 9 recruitment points. Pretty cheap. This would be the budget option if I need to hit something in the low 20s protection. Next, we have Samurai. This one is the same guy, but now he has switched out the Naginata for a katana. The katana is a great weapon. It's only length 1, which is a little bit of a downside, but we're in an age where length 1s are not uncommon. 13 attack for 18 slashing, piercing damage is pretty good. This is great at chopping down line troops. Now, a lot of times when we talk about line troops, we say 16 protection is kind of the standard, but it's 16 protection and a shield. So just note that while 15 is still fine, we don't have a shield. So this is a little squishier than you might otherwise think. Beyond that, 11 defense is okay. And remember, that's actually 11 because we're not counting a shield parry. So an okay solid troop. 10 gold, 22 resources, 9 recruitment points. Not going to break the bank. This guy's okay. You could totally use him. Next up, we have the Samurai Archer. I would say an improvement on the previous one. 11 gold, 25 resources, 12 recruitment points. That's barely anything more than what we were already paying. Again, the human standard troop stats. But now we have a longbow. Yes, it's not a crossbow. It would sure be nice if we had crossbows. Again, we are a pretty good middle-aged nation that just happens to be in the late ages. But longbows can outrange crossbows. And for counter battery fire, most crossbowmen are not in heavy armor or anything. So 14 piercing damage is all right. One of the big benefits here, like in previous ages, is we can do hold and fire. So you have 12 rounds to put buffs on these guys where they will hold nice and still for you. You don't have to worry about something slipping by and getting into your mages. And when they do get to, you have a katana, which again, 13 attack for 18 piercing or slashing damage is fine. That's good. And the buffs that you would stack on these will be really nice. So for example, you'd probably want to get giant strength. Well, that's going to help your longbow damage and your katana damage. Temper armor will work great on these guys. They have a 15 protection samurai armor, so getting an additional 3 to that would be great. You can give them earthquake weapons, which will give them a chance to stun with their katana, and they have a good chance to hit, even if they're not killing people, so that would work. They hold nice and still and 3 to a square, so body ethereal. That's going to be something, all these buffs kind of apply to all of our troops. But this is just particularly nice because they hold still. Next up, we have the Oban. The Oban is a heavier samurai armor, otherwise similar. This is a more elite troop than what we were just looking at. So 12 gold, 26 resources, 14 recruitment points. We have 11 HP, we have 12 attack, 11 defense. So we have a 15 attack, 18 damage katana. We've also gone up to 13 morale, whereas the samurai only had 11. So a harder, more elite troop for sure. And we're using that heavy samurai armor. Now again, 7 encumbrance. So 3 rounds, and we're probably going to be up into about 20 fatigue, where you start taking combat stat penalties because you're so tired. So just be aware of that. But 17 protection, even though without a shield, is still a pretty good line troop. These guys could definitely do that role if you wanted them to. Next up, we have a Go Hatamoto. This is a similarly armored, but up-weaponed version. 14 gold, 25 resources, 18 recruitment points. Better than human stats, including a great attack stat. We're now wielding a Nodachi. A Nodachi is a two-handed version of a katana, and it's got 15 attack for 21 slashing damage. This is a killer unit. This is going to be able to smack line troops very hard. and it's a two-handed weapon. So if you do give them a strength buff, remember you get extra damage. Two-handed weapons add an extra 25% of unit strength. So if you added 4 more into that, you would get, I think you end up getting an additional 1 or 2 damage. So pretty nice there. So that can bump that up a little bit more. And I do like heavy hitting two-handed weapons that have good chances to hit on heavily armored troops, because you're going to need to actually be able to take a hit or two to kind of trade blows. So again, I like this troop. A bit of an elite price on him, but I like Nodachi. I think that's a good weapon, especially in the right use case. Next up, we have our probably most elite non-sacred unit, the Aka Oni Samurai. The Aka Oni Samurai is 15 gold, 22 resources, 21 recruitment points, so you can tell they're quite elite. Better than human stats, including 13 attack and 13 defense. That's 13 real defense. This is not coming off of the parry of a shield. That's actually pretty incredible for a non-elf troop. Your standard line troop with only 10 attack is going to struggle. 10 plus 2d6 versus 13 plus 2d6 weights it in your favor quite a bit. That's quite nice. And remember, that can go up as you survive and get experience. So that is good. High morale, that 15 samurai protection is good. We've gone back to just a katana, but he's incredibly good with it. 16 attack for 19 slashing or piercing damage. This is quite an elite troop. I like these a lot. If you have the ability to afford them and you don't need the Nodachi, or the repels of other weapons don't help you, this would make a great frontline troop. Very nice here. Next up, we have one of our disappointments, a sufferer of the Dominion 6 cavalry changes. We have the Samurai Cavalry. The troop on the horse is all right, as it usually is. 35 gold, 34 resources, 36 recruitment points. We have an elite stat line here. Pretty good stat line, actually. He has a light lance. That's not great. Only 14 piercing damage. Now, he does have a good attack with it, and you do get a lance damage bonus, but that's borderline. Once he's used up the light lance, because it is actually a lance, so he'll drop that. He'll switch to his katana, which is 14 attack, and ironically, pretty good comparable damage. 17 slashing, piercing damage is fine. He's using the heavy samurai armor and a kabuto, so pretty good armor here. He's got 17 protection. And as a mounted troop, 24 combat speed's pretty good. The letdown here is we have a warhorse with leather barding. Yep, just leather barding. It doesn't even go on the head. It's just 5 body. So anything that's firing at these guys is going to kill them out. That being said, these are not the worst flankers ever. So if your role for them is to hold attack rear to try to kill off some mages, or maybe get into the crossbows, if they're not targeted by archer fire and they get there, they'll probably do pretty well. You'll probably lose horses, but at least the samurai on top will be able to fight pretty well on the ground. So not a total waste, but definitely a victim of changing times. As with every troop in our lineup, we would really like anything that gives us protection from arrows. So protection from arrows itself, or a storm, or air shields, etc., etc. Next up, we have 2 sacred units. These are cap-only sacreds. First up, we have the Sohi. This is a Naginata-wielding, samurai-armored sacred. They have elite stats, pretty good, and they're not super expensive. 19 gold, 19 resources, 21 recruitment points. So this isn't cheap, but this is like 2 and some change of our weakest troop. That's not a horrible price to pay for an okay sacred. The thing is, it's still a human sacred. At least it has a good weapon. So it's a length 3, and they're good with it. 11 attack, 23 slashing damage. This is fine. This will kill line troops for you. You're going to be very reliant, if you want to use these troops, on what you bless them with. I have quite a few different blessings in mind, but I think it's very important on this nation, because we also have a lot of summoned sacreds and sacred thug units. So we have to really think hard about what we want for a blessing, and it's going to make or break our sacreds, I think. So overall, pretty good. Just very vanilla elite troop that happens to be sacred. Next up, we have the Yamabushi. In a lot of aspects, a lot better than the previous sacred. 19 gold, 22 resources, 10 recruitment points, but undisciplined. Undisciplined sacred units. So we do have priest level 2, so blessing them is not the worst thing ever, but not the easiest either. And we actually only have standard, well, no, we have one below standard fort, so we're at castle. So our commander points are kind of at a premium, so recruiting priests when we could get mages kind of sucks. So that hurts a lot. I wish there was a way we could get them disciplined. They do come with mountain survival, and they are, of course, sacred. They are amazing katana wielders. 17 attack for 19 slashing or piercing damage is amazing. If you're giving them a bless that needs to hit with a weapon, you can't go very wrong with a 17. Not a lot of troops, even with their shield parry, get up to 17 defense. So that's a mark in their favor. They are also a little cheaper, so if recruitment points are your choke point, they're a little bit cheaper than the Sohi companion that you could get instead. One thing I wish these guys had, because they have mountain survival, I kind of wish that they were mountain recruit. Like, not a recruit anywhere, but a mountain recruit sacred. That would make these guys a lot more interesting, and I think would help the nation quite a bit, but they don't, so that is what it is. Next up, we have 2 underwater recruits. Yes, we can build underwater forts. First up is the Shrimp Soldier. This guy, he hates relay. He has Void Sanity 10. He's aquatic only, and he has Dark Vision 100. So for an underwater troop, you get cost of 10 gold, 20 resources, 9 recruitment points. Pretty cheap. You get pretty good stat line. We get 14 HP, and we do have okay defense. Otherwise, it's kind of standard. They have a little low magic resist, normal morale. They wield a metal glaive. Now remember, if you use a slashing attack underwater, you take a penalty. So that's a little bit of an oof, but glaives are still good weapons. Note, it doesn't say it's made of iron, so it's not going to instantly rust. I'm looking at you, middle-aged people who want to send iron troops out of the ocean. He has metal scale armor, 15 protection. Note, it's body only, and it is not made of iron. So overall, I think this guy is actually pretty good. They're okay. They're size 3. They are aquatic only, but it's nice to have an aquatic troop if you are somebody who has a vested interest in the ocean, which we very much do. Secondly, we have the Shark Warrior. I really like these guys. A, it's a hammerhead Shark Warrior. What's not to like about that? But B, for 45 gold, 33 resources, 31 recruitment points, you get a giant shark, essentially. He is size 6, 28 HP, 17 strength, 12 attack, bad defense. But remember, as size 6, you can push your way to the front, and that pretty much guarantees you'll be sharing your square with a regular size human, which helps lower the 7 defense penalty here. He's wielding a metal Yari, 13 attack for 25 piercing damage. So no penalty while you're underwater stabbing things. And he's amphibian with dark vision. And he has a second attack of bite. So a 2 attack giant. So you actually are not lowering your attack density by using these guys. That's great. And he's armored with metal scale armor. No hat. And 15 protection is pretty vulnerable to crossbows. And you can be targeted with attack large enemy monsters. But all that being said, he's fine. I like him, actually. If I just get a pond for my underwater fort, this guy's obviously better because he can leave the pond, whereas the shrimp cannot. Underwater, a combination of one of these guys plus a shrimp in a square is pretty good. You still get 3 attacks out, and they're all pretty damaging attacks. And 15 protection on the other guy and 19 protection on him is pretty good. 19 protection underwater is very solid troop, I would say. So I like them a lot. Not much else to say about that. Just a solid giant troop. Nice to have a little bit of variety. In addition to this huge lineup, we also have a bajillion summons. We'll come back to them when we get to magic, but just know that this is like a fifth of our total lineup. So there's a lot more going on here. Heroes, commanders, and prophet. For heroes, we have 3. We have the Red Devil, who is a human mercenary leader turned hero. He has better than average stats. He has fear. I think he has like a magic face mask, essentially, that's doing that. It's kind of weird. It's not an actual item. And he has inspirational, giving him a total of +3 for troops he leads. Other than that, he's just a cool leader. We have Son of the Dragon King. Interesting troop here. He has the Spear of the Dragon King, which is a length 4 magic weapon, and he's quite good with it. He's armored with the Armor of the Dragon King, a very nice piece of armor, and he has a kabuto on for his hat. 2 magic in water. He does a little bit of research. He's amphibian. He has Gift of Water Breath. This could be useful, could give you 1 vector to get troops underwater to get that water province and get started down there, but otherwise, nothing special. Next, we have Red Tengu. Red Tengu is a Tengu, and he is a sacred flying, mountain survival, storm immunity leader. He has 50 leadership. That's nothing to write home about. He has leather gear, katana, and he can throw some lightning strikes. Lightning strike is a 1-shot small AoE. It is a air effect 1 for 1 damage. Yeah, it's okay. He's okay. Again, cool, but not going to be nation defining. I did see a little bit of rumbling that maybe there's another hero that was added, but I couldn't find him. So if there is another hero, let me know. Moving up to standard troops, we're going to start off strong with a ninja. The ninja is 80 gold, 14 resources, 1 recruitment point, so we can get 2 of these out at a time. They have slightly worse than human stats for HP, but otherwise pretty good stats of an elite troop. They are not leaders. They have good morale, good magic resistance, good precision, and that's important because they have shuriken. They have 4 ammunition, but they throw twice, so I believe you only get 2 shots. If you hit somebody and damage them, it has a strong poison, which is 15 magic poison damage, so quite strong there. They also are very stealthy at 70. They have dark vision of 50. They are assassin 2s. That's a pretty high assassination. Better assassin levels means you'll wait more patiently, less chance there are guards, and I think if there are guards, there's a better chance they're asleep. They also have scale walls. Scale walls means that while you're sieging a fort, you can continue to assassinate. So those instances where you're worried there's a bunch of mages inside the fort and maybe they're like summoning reinforcements, you can just work your way through them and kill them off. Otherwise equipped, they have a chainmail cuirass for 12 protection. That's okay. It's not amazing. They have a ninjato, which is like a straight short blade, and the shuriken previously mentioned. 16 attack with 15 slashing is good enough for most leaders. These are so good that you can actually do assassin expansion, and you may be very interested in doing that. We do not like expanding into, for example, large amounts of crossbows, where if we just assassinate the leadership, you could just walk in there and take it. Generally speaking, 4 assassinations per province will be most of the time enough, unless we're talking about a throne. So ideally, we would have 4 assassins and a scout, or in the early game, 5 assassins. And the 4 of them will assassinate, and then the 5th one will attack the province with hold, retreat. Alternatively, in the very early game, maybe do 5 assassinations, and then 4 of them move on, and whoever gets wounded or whatever becomes your attacking assassin. Either way, essentially, once you get 4 or 5 of these guys in a group, you should be able to take a province every other plus a little bit turn. So this can really help your expansion, which is one area where if you looked at that troop lineup and thought, ooh, late age? Yeah, it's as bad as you think. It's not the worst. We're not Micklin again, but we're in late age and we're not equipped for late age, in my opinion. Thank you, Katana, for saving us. So this is a viable path for expansion, and it's all right. I did a little bit of testing. The most reliable, and from my research, I saw at least one person agreeing with me, the most reliable script is actually fire rear. That should, in some instances, let you throw both shots. Sometimes you only get one off, depending, before they close. Remember also, if you're poisoned, you take some stat penalties based on how much. So you can actually swing the fight very much in your favor before melee is even clashed. And against unarmored mages, you may just straight up kill them with the shuriken. So pretty good. They don't win 100% of the time against a heavy infantry commander, but I would say they have about a 80-90% chance to win against that. They struggle against heavy cav, but they can do it sometimes. Mages and priests, they usually dominate. So overall, a pretty good one, and it's very cheap. And you can get 2 of them per fort. So in the early game, this is a strong option to help your expansion. Next up, we have the Goknin. This is a leader, and he's a bad one. He only has 75 leadership. He is wearing good protection. You start with one of these leading your starting army. He's okay. I wouldn't recruit him because he doesn't have good leadership. We definitely want formations. We are in late age. Crossbows are everywhere. We do not want to be in a block formation eating crossbows. At least in a line, it mitigates the fire coming into us somewhat. Next up, we have a mounted Goknin. This is the same guy, but now he's on a horse. He's got a lance. 75 leadership remains. I would not get this guy. Again, our horses suck. They have leather barding. Next up, we have a Hatamoto. This is the leader I would get because he is upgraded to 100 leadership. He has a light lance and the katana, still wearing the heavier armor. If his horse dies, he's a leader, so you can still reacquire mount, so that's not the worst thing ever. Do note, if you don't have any cavalry in your army, a clever opponent may do fire enemy cavalry, and if you get in range of his crossbows, they're going to take shots at him. So just be aware of that. And he doesn't have a shield, so 17 protection, halved, and then 15% of that means he is vulnerable to crossbow fire. Finally, we have a Daimyo. The Daimyo is a good leader. He's got 150 leadership, 15 morale. He ain't going anywhere. He has the exact same problems as the previous guy. Once I'm up and running, I would prefer to get these guys. We are not super cowardly, like 10 is our low, but still, getting that extra 2 morale just means that we're going to fight to the death, which very fitting for like a samurai type troop. But let's say we're using like this guy. We're kind of going budget option. He's only got 11 morale. Upping that to 13, he's going to stand and fight till the end, basically. And if you're using elite troops, giving him a 16 morale, he's definitely going to fight to the bitter end. So do note, we went up to 2 recruitment points, though, so you're not going to be able to get 2 like you would here. Next up, we have a Kanushi. The Kanushi is our priest level 2s. Do note, they come in as old, and they're old enough. I don't think you'll ever get a young one. They are priest level 2s. They have a 10% chance to get fire, air, water, earth, nature. Don't count on that. If you don't roll a magic path, they cannot build a lab, just FYI. They are sacred themselves. Not too much to say about him. He has leadership 10. He's 100 gold, 1 resource, 2 recruitment points. 2 recruitment points sucks a little bit. I wish they were 1 recruitment point, but most, I don't think you get holy 2s off of 1 recruit. That would sure be nice here. But we have a recruit anywhere, priest level 2. If you need to get blesses out, if you need to fight Lemuria or other banish type things, this is an okay option for that. Next up, we have the Monk of the Fivefold Path. This is the big disappointment here. He has to be 2 recruitment points, air quotes, has to, because he has a 100% chance of getting fire, air, water, earth, nature. But that sucks. We don't have a priest level 1 recruitment point option. He's also expensive at 95 gold. Now, this is our first researcher. He has 7 research ability for 38 per year. So very efficient, I would say there. I do quite like that. Other than that, he gets your bless. I will say we do have a line of special national spells that are holy plus 1 of these. Some of them more useful than others. We'll talk about those when we get to spells, but like the air one can be pretty good. I will call out here specifically. The air one is essentially air shield, and it is like, I think it's size 1 plus 2 per holy level. So if you make one of these guys your prophet, you actually have a AoE 5 air shield, and you could have that on turn 2. Or no, turn 3. If you recruited one of these guys and you got the 20% chance that he's an air. So maybe something interesting there, maybe. Otherwise, he's efficient but slow at research. Next up, we have the Sujinja. This can also be recruited in highlands and mountains, and you're going to see that for him and the Master Sujinja. This is very interesting because if you can secure a highland or mountain and build an early fort, these guys are only 2 recruitment points, so they are slow to recruit, meaning that they take 2 turns, but you don't need fort turns. So that means you could do ninjas out of your capital, and you could still get some research from the unforted lab. They come in with Earth 1 and a random 100% chance of fire, air, water, earth, nature. Most of these are not particularly great. Earth 2s would be just fine. Earth 2's combat able. Beyond that, though, if you got fire, you could use gems to boost up. If you got water, you might be able to do some rust stuff with a little bit of work. Not the best pathing here, unfortunately. 135 gold is not breaking the bank. You do get 9 research for 108 gold, so not efficient, but it's non-fort turn recruitment research, so that's okay. Do note they're kind of cowardly, so they're likely to run away early in the fight. Let's look at his big brother, the Master Shujinja. This again can be recruited in highlands and mountains. He is better by far. 230 gold, 1 resource, 2 recruitment points. He has morale 8, so he's even more cowardly. 184 gold for 13 research is pretty bad. That's bad efficiency, but it is one of our faster researchers. He comes in automatically with Earth, Nature, and he gets a 210%. So you have independent rolls. You could hit all 3 of these of fire, air, water, earth, nature. Most of those paths are pretty good. Like your worst one would be like you get 1 water, you get 1 air. That'd be like your absolute worst. You have decent odds of hitting like an Earth 2 or various combos. Some water plus some nature can do some summons. Extra earth is great. You could get a double air. You could get double fire. You could do magma spells. You could do the rust spells. You could do fire cloud. Tons and tons and tons of cross pathing here. A very decent mage for combat. I think just ease of use, just getting Earth 2 is probably the easiest, but you have lots of cross path potential there. These guys also can help us summon in a lot of our national spells. Next up, we have the Onmyo G. This is the Astral 2 mage I talked about earlier. Only 200 gold. He is slow to recruit. He does come in with a Shikigami at his side at the beginning of battle. This is a better than normal bird, essentially. Pretty okay troop. And you get 1 per guy, so just some free distractions. Astral 2 is pretty nice. That means that you could immediately mind burn. You could buff yourself with Power Spheres or Light of the Northern Star, and you could Soul Slay. You could get a ton of Body Ethereal out and not pass out. They also get randoms, and it's the same set we've been seeing of Fire, Air, Water, Earth, Nature at 210%, 3 individual rolls. So there's not a ton of astral cross-pathing, but what this does mean is we can do communions if we are so inclined. So we can get communions in there. I think for me, the more exciting thing is probably just having an astral 2. That's just a nice to have. Do note you have astral and earth access, so we could make we could make astral boosters. Could be pretty good there. Beyond those, he has mountain survival, spirit sight, and fortune teller 10. Now, do note he's 278 years old. He's a bit of an old boy, but max age is 500. Home province is another plane. So kind of cool, guys. Yeah, not much else to say about it. He's slow to recruit, so you're probably not going to use a ton of these guys, but good options here nonetheless. Next up, we have our underwater recruits. We have the Crab General, can be recruited in underwater forts. 70 gold, 32 resources, 1 recruitment points. He has 25 HP, 15 strength. Decent stat line. He has a metal glaive and a pincer. So he does have multiple attacks, although the pincer's kind of whatever, but it is a thing. Wearing metal armor, giving him 23 protection on the body and 15 on the head. He is an amphibian, he has dark vision, and void sanity. Overall, he's an okay leader. He has 50 leadership. You're not going to have a bajillion shark warriors, and he's somebody who can get them out of the water for you. Finally, we have possibly the nation-defining mage slash thug. We have the Ryujin. This can be recruited in underwater forts. 400 gold, 6 resources, 4 recruitment points. So you are looking at slow to recruit. 23 HP, 14 strength, 12 attack, 11 defense, 12 precision. He has 10 leadership, 40 magic leadership. That is kind of relevant for us. He comes in with an item. He has the Dragon Pearl, which gives him a temp water gem, gives him +1 water magic, gives him water breathing. It cannot be removed from him. He has water magic 3 normally, and a 100% of getting +2, so linked pathing, fire, air, earth, nature, and a 10% chance of getting fire, air, water, earth, nature. So you're looking at water 3 and 2 of one of those guaranteed. So earth, fire, air, even nature, any of those are good thug pathing. These guys are pretty good thugs. They have added a Drake gas. I don't believe this was in Dom 5. I'm 99% sure that wasn't. So he has Venomous Fangs, 12 attack, 12 piercing damage. That does a death poison. He has Claw attack. He has a Tail Sweep. This is an AoE 1. Unfortunately, very low damage, so buffing his strength would be quite good. And he has Drake gas, which is a Cloud attack, costs you 16 fatigue. This is a beam attack, so I believe this is like a straight line of range 6, but poison clouds are always pretty strong, especially against like human level troops. And he's armored with Imperial robes, which are pretty garbage. Overall, what really makes him, in addition to all of that, is his other traits. Amphibian, we already know that. 5 shock, 5 fire, 5 cold, 15 poison resist. He is a magic being that does open you up to certain attacks. He has shape change. He changes into one of those like Eastern dragons, has a bit more HP. Remember that shape changing no longer destroys your items. It only disables them. So big thumbs up there. He has flying, and he has a 34 map move fly. 34 map move is crazy distance, especially flying. He has spirit sight, and he has water breathing. Overall, this is a pretty decent thug chassis. You're obviously going to need to armor him up. You'd probably like to get something like an AoE weapon of some sort, some piece of armor, perhaps tailored to your resist type needed. A shield would be rather nice. You only have 1 miscellaneous slot because you cannot take off the Dragon Pearl, but very strong. It's going to depend a lot on what random pathing you get to. Let's say you got Earth. The Earth is going to be able to buff his protection a lot more, opening up different armor options perhaps. The air is going to be able to mist form, would also be able to cloud trap ease in. The fire is going to be able to fire shield and maybe do something like Phoenix Pyre, maybe, although he doesn't have Soul Vortex access. Overall, very strong mage also. Note that with that water plus earth is rust, water plus air is mist clouds or ice clouds. Water and fire gives you access to Geyser, which is a surprisingly painful spell when people have high enough pathing. Underwater, you're going to be able to summon water power even higher, and you get that temp gem. So you may as well throw out, let's say, a full-size water elemental just right off the bat, and you won't pass out necessarily from it because your water is so high. Very good mage. Very, very, very good mage. And there's the option of thugging these guys. Let me know what your favorite thug build for these is. Oh, in addition, I don't think I said it out loud, they're also sacred. So you would get your sacred bless on them, obviously. Very, very nice. Partially nation defining. We want to get in the water quite a lot. Who would I make my prophet? You have a couple options. I do think there's something to be said about a Monk of the Fivefold Paths, because we do have some unique national spells, and at least one of which scales off of priest levels. That could be a thing. If you need your bless right away, you're going to use a Goknin because that's what you start with. If that's not the case, I would probably go Daimo, unless you're fighting somebody who's smart enough to do fire enemy cavalry, and you're not going to bring some cav as a screen, then you probably need to drop down to a Gokin. You could do a stealth ninja. An assassin prophet is a thing. Also, you could do some stealth preaching. He has 70 stealth, so he's a very sneaky stealth preacher. You could go with like a crab general later in the game if you still wanted to stay away from cavalry. Do note he's size 5, so fire enemy large monsters might tag him. I probably wouldn't go with the Ryujin. National spells and items. As for national items, we have no national items. As for national spells, well, my Show Nation mod was overwhelmed, and we actually had to revert out to the Dom Inspector because we were missing a lot of the units that we can summon in. Starting us off in Conjuration, we have Summon Ko-Oni, Summon Kappa, Summon Karasu Tengus, Summon Ao Oni, Summon Kohona Tengus, Summon Aka Oni, Summon Okami, Summon Bakaneko, an Ambush of Tigers, Ghost General, Summon Oni, Contact Jaimagi, Contact Daitengu, Summon Kuro Oni, Summon Ujigami, Contact Mujina, Contact Tunaki, Contact Mora no Kami, Contact Nushi, Contact Kaijin, Summon Oni General, Summon Gozumezu, Contact Tatsu, Contact Kitsune, Summon Kinzoku, Contact Yama no Kami, Summon Dione. So, as you can see, every one of our national spells comes out of Conjuration. And we have just a few divine spells outside of that. We have for air, the Fear Not sign. This is the reason why you may consider putting your prophet on one of those little priests. This is an air shield effect. AoE is 2+2 per holy level. So actually you get 6 as a prophet. That could be pretty good. That could be pretty good. Although it's one dude. How much coverage can you get? They have the Earth Touching sign. This is the priest level 1 Earth 1. This one is a undead, anti-undead and demon spell, which does 999 damage. Range is 20. Pretty darn killy there. And it is magic resist easily. We have the Welcome sign if you have fire. This allows you to mind control enemy units and they will join you, and they stay as commanders if they were a commander. Can be pretty darn good. Could be an anti-thug thing, but it is magic resistance negates easily, so hard to land that one. We have the Teaching sign. This one allows you to boost your nature to nature 2. And we have the Meditation sign. This one allows you to give back some fatigue. So you remove 15 fatigue from the target of it. Are these nation defining? No. Kind of an interesting thing with a prophet and the air shield, but it's one dude, so I don't know how great that's going to be there. Okay, let's hop back over into game here. Just to show that a different way, because I know there's a bajillion of them, we're going to hop in here. I'm going to call out a couple different things. One, when you're designing your nation, you have to decide if you're going to do Oni or not, because you don't have very good death access. I believe the Baki Neko is the only death that we have. I think it's just a death 1. So getting enough death income after having to already do all that is unlikely unless you're a god, can go out and site search for death. In addition, you're probably going to need to design your god to do Dione. If you want to do Dione, you almost have to have your god do it. 4 death and a fire, 45 death gems. So you need to get site searching on death very early. That's one thing. In addition, the Oni like turmoil. We can eat turmoil just fine, but we don't love it either. So if you want to use the Oni, you probably want to go turmoil. So you have to kind of pre-plan that. I'm going to call it a couple here, and then we'll go over and look at a few of them that my mod does show. We can summon in Kappa. We get 5 of them for 3 water gems. Requires a water and nature crosspath. This is actually pretty good. They're not great on land, but they're pretty decent underwater. They have that guaranteed limp when they hit things. This is one way that you could try to get underwater and get that off and rolling. Ao Oni, or the Cold Oni, again, you probably need your god if you want to go this route. Tengu are very interesting. We'll look at those in a second, but they are flying sacred units. So being able to summon these in is nice. And unlike in previous era, we actually have the cross pathing to do it without having our god have to do it himself. Again, summon Kahona Tengu. This gives us 5+ of them, so a little bit more efficient there. Okami, I'm going to call out. These are good boy doggos and 10+, and it only is 4 nature gems. So a high nature person, it only requires nature 1. So at worst, 4 gems for 10 of these is nice and efficient. Nice and efficient. Illwinner's definitely dog people because yeah, they made very nice dog summons in Dom 6. Here's that Bakaneko we were talking about earlier. Only requires nature 2. We can get that natively. Tigers, because of course, what nation would be complete without them? Normal Oni. Again, you're going to have to make a god if you want to go that route. Ghost General, same as we've seen in eras past. Again, you're going to need a god to do that one. Jingama, Dai Tengu, this is one of the big ones. 55 air gems. We do have 1 air income. So unless you get lucky, like we have recently on a stream, and get a lot of air income, it's going to be kind of hard to do. But we can do it natively. We don't have to have God designed to do it. And you get 13 Tengu warriors, which are quite nice. You also get 20 Karasu Tengu. I think this is doubling up. I don't think we get 50 of those, but quite nice. And you get a Tengu leader. So between the warriors and the extras, very, very nice. You get a ton of summons there. I'm going to Alt-Tab just quickly and look at that just to make sure I'm correct. Yeah, you get 13 warriors and you get 20 Karasu Tengus plus the leader himself. Very, very nice. Worth thinking about because they're all sacred. We get Nushi, very worth it. Kaijin, very worth it. Again, we can do this natively. We don't have to worry about that. Summon Ujigami. This is a pretty nice troop. Yeah, we're going to need to look at a lot of these. Here's our Kitsune at 6. That gives us a spy that we're able to summon in. The Yama no Kami, a reason that you might want to design a pretender with 4 Earth. You could get there via boots. Not unlikely, but not super likely either. And this is a leader that we definitely would like to have. Let's actually look at some of those. So like I mentioned, even my mod failed us here. They just could not contain all of the troops we can get. I want to call out, here's some of the Tengu. So here's the leader that you get. He's 3 air. That's high enough. You could do storms. He also has earth and nature, and he's a priest level 2. Has a quarterstaff, has the lightning throw. He's all right. Nothing too special there. Here is the Bakimono. Again, you have a 100% chance to get either fire 1 or death 1. So not enough death, in my opinion, to climb in there. They do have magic power. Here is the Yama no Kami. Again, a very strong unit here. Air 2, Earth 3, Nature 2, just out of the box. He has 29 HP and regen. He's a magic being. He summons in monsters. I believe he summons in wolves is his thing. He's ethereal. A quite nice chassis here. Here's the Tatsu. That is a dragon with 2 linked paths. The Jigami, again, a nature 2, strength of the summer, ethereal. Ujami here is a very important summon for us. This is a leader that has good leadership and good magic leadership. He's a priest level 2. He is a magic being and he has fortune teller. His main thing is he gives you a good leader for the Kinzoku. These guys are great. These guys are great. They are sacred, awe 2 magic beings with ethereal. They wield an enchanted katana, 19 attack, 25 magic damage, and they're in our heavy armor. So we have a heavily armored ethereal awe troop that you can just summon in. I also want to call out the Dai Oni. If you do go the Oni route, he's large and in charge, just like he's always been. Very strong, arguably super combatant. Again, you're going to be a little bit dependent on what bless you take. I will say, Dai Oni plus crossbows is not your friend. So air shield would be a strong consideration here, as would possibly regen would be really good for them. Do note that they have the chaos power, so you'd likely want to be turmoil if you're planning to go this route. Beyond the summons themselves, of course, any of the path boosting things from conjuration, which are likely to be going up anyways, alteration for thug buffs would be rather nice, including Mist Form. Evocation, we can do evocations, although watch the friendly fire, but we can do quite a lot of these because we have high water, high earth, high fire, high nature, high air. So we can do most anything that you want to do. You could try to pick holes in your enemy's defense and go for that. We even could do gifts from heaven if you wanted to go down that route. Construction is very important. Your god cannot build their own temples. So you have to get a priest underwater to build a temple to be able to recruit Ryujin. That means you need construction 3 for a water breathing ring before that can happen. In addition, going up to 5 opens up tons of different thug items, tons of different boosters. We could be interested in glamour boosters, nature boosters, earth boosters, fire boosters, water boosters, just all the boosters. So I think there's a very strong argument for a relatively early construction 3 and a not very late construction 5. Enchantment has several good things for us. Strength of Giants is great on all of our troops. The protection spells are great. True Shot can help our bowmen in firing at enemy crossbowmen. True Shot warriors being able to cloud trap ease. We could levitate our soldiers and then do earthquake stuff. We could use trade wind to increase our coastal income. Could be kind of nice, although hard to justify spending air gems not on Tengu. In Thaumaturgy, the Battle Fury buffs are quite nice. This would help some of our reach weapons that don't have very good attack get a lot better at being able to repel. In addition to that, of course, Mindburn and Communions are available here. Furious Warriors. We have Water 3s guaranteed, so Curse of the Desert could be a thing. Serenity turns off Berserk could be a thing. Lots and lots of options here. We basically, other than sorcery lines, we have very strong elemental and some sorcery. So I think you could go many different ways with our magic. Okay, let's bring all that together. Late Age Yeoman is an incredible middle-aged nation that happens to be in the late age. I don't think they're sunk. My proudest Dominion 5 multiplayer win was with them. I was very proud of that. When we're designing our nation, we need to make a couple different choices. Are we going to go for the Oni? If we are, we need to take death and some fire, most likely on our pretender. We also probably want turmoil. 2, how bad do we want that ocean? If we want it bad enough, you should probably have an expander god who can go do it for you, because doing it outside of that is rough. In the game here behind you, I actually got 2 different sets of amphibious mercs, and I can't take the water province I was adjacent to. I keep losing because it's a bajillion Triton troops, so I bounced off it a couple times. And now I've got wars and things going on. I'm less focused on that. It would have been very nice to get that up and running. So those are 2 things. I think you actually can use turmoil. In this game, I didn't go for Oni, but I did take the turmoil to pay for other things, and I haven't felt particularly restricted on my recruitment. So I think that's totally doable if you want to go that route. I think you need to have a plan for beating crossbows, whether that's going to be assassinate the leaders, whether that's going to be longbow counterfire, whether that's going to be air shield. I think you need to at least have a plan because those crossbows are coming. Our troops themselves, when not taking crossbow fire, are actually pretty good and can hold their own in melee against most things. Our mages are pretty good and not cap only restricted. We have a underwater recruit that is absolutely incredible and opens up some thug options for us. I think we have a plethora of options from our summons, a lot of which outside of the Oni can just be done natively too. I love nations that can actually use their national summons and don't have to design a pretender for it. So a lot of different options there. Pretenders and scales. As mentioned, I think if you want to go Oni, you really should go Turmoil. If you're not planning on going with the Oni, you still could go Turmoil if you want. I don't think we need Order particularly. we do need a lot of production. We would like at least 2 and preferably 3, honestly. As you can see here, we don't have a very wide set of choices, unfortunately. Luckily, we do have a lot of usable ones. I will call out, we do have a unique one down here. We have the Onmyo Hakase. He is only 80 points, and he is a Astral one that has Fortune Teller and Spirit Sight. He's okay. He does come with a Shikigami on his side. Other than that, nothing overly special there. Moving up to Dom 2, we have the Eastern gods, and including a couple of the African gods here. The Tortoise, I want to like this guy, but his problem is, if you were going to use one of him, you would almost certainly have to give him Earth, and it's 80 points for 1 point of Earth, and he has Astral. You're going to get Magic Dueled if you sit this low, so you're looking at wanting like 5-ish. Okay, well, I haven't even got a Bless yet, so we have 5. I guess we're going Magic Weapons. Okay, we still can't afford that. We have 44 points we haven't bought. I have no scales, so we'll do something like that. I'm not excited about this, is what I'm getting at. This would work. You could use him, but I think we have way better chassis. Note he has 22 protection, so he'll be high 20s once we have a self-earth buff. Body ethereal plus high protection is all right. Otherwise, his chassis is not stellar, and he has strength of winter, so he's going to be weaker in the summer when you're doing your initial expansion, which kind of sucks. He doesn't have a way to kill anything particularly either. With his crappy bite attack, he'll chomp 1 troop. No fear, no auras. I'm not feeling him, unfortunately. We have the White Tiger of the West. I'm going to show you a build for him. I do still like him. Not the safest expander, but he can do it. We have Flavors of Dragons. Unfortunately, priced at 200 points. I don't like that. We have the Vermilion Bird of the South. Does bring in an extra fortune scale if you'd like. Bodhisattva of Mercy, which is 250. She does have Healer. That is a thing. She also reduces Unrest. If you're going to use Oni, maybe, but she has a high new path cost, so that's probably out. It's unfortunate. That's a chassis I'd like to like. We do have the Phoenix, which I do like. We do have the Snake. We'll look at a build. Up in Dom 3, I don't like Titans, generally speaking. They're too overpriced, in my opinion. I do think there's something to be said about the Kami of the Sun. This could have some options. We'll look at a build here. Also, the Dharam Pala of the Underworld could be an Oni summoner. Like, if you were just getting him with the idea of, like, he's going to summon in my Dione, do that, and maybe we go, like, Imprisoned, something like that. He does have Death Power, but I wouldn't go that route. Something like this, and then we make a pretty big Bless. Can I get to 6? I can't. I was thinking Air Shield here. So we'd be imprisoned, so you'd want something that they can use while imprisoned. So obviously we would go like Blood Surge, maybe Enchanted Blood. We're already at -2. That gets us 4. I'm just kind of making cheap Bless points here. And that leaves us with 5 extras. Righteous Wrath wouldn't be terrible. We have lots of summonable sacreds and human sacreds that will die. That could maybe be a thing, although that's not really for Dione. Withering Weapons and just be super annoying. That could be a thing. I don't know. Not a huge fan of him. Moving up to the Dom 4s. Good selection. Okay. I will call it Statue of War. Again, this could be an option if you wanted to go for the Oni. We could go with 4 death here, and we would have the fire. He does give you free barbarian spawns, so that might be able to help you do some expansion. Sacred Geyser, if you wanted to go for a relatively cheap quickness, also could do like an acid weapon bless. The Fountain also is pretty good here. The Okami have magic power, so having magic scales would be helpful. Research is good for us. Turmoil, we can eat it if we have to. let's take a look at a couple builds that I actually made. First build is the bare bones basic snake. He has hard skin. He's awake. He has 1 production. I would like 2, but for some reason snake has sloth scales, so I went with 1 heat because he is cold-blooded, 1 production, 1 magic, 5 dominion. He has hard skin. Hard skin's not particularly exciting bless for our nation, but he is amphibious and he has fear. With hard skin, he already has 23 production. Once we get some self-buffing in there, he'll be nigh immune to most things, and his recuperation if something does slip through, and having high earth gives him affliction resistance, so he can do that. Earth is high enough he can craft pretty much whatever you'd like, do a little bit of crafting and boosting. You could do earthquakes later on. That could be something interesting. He is basically, I want to get in the water and I want to be very cheap. Here you go. He can get into the water right away and get you started on that path. Next up, we have Amaterasu. This is a cheeky build, I would say. She is awake. She has magic weapons. Not all of our sacreds have magic weapons. Some of our summons do, some do not. And awareness. Awareness is kind of needed for her more than our units themselves. She is 192 HP. She has 16 defense with Awe 3 and Sight Vengeance 15. Sight Vengeance means that you will blind things, and you do this before you hit. You do this on attack. So you get blinded or awed, and then her 16 defense keeps her relatively safe. With her fire, you can self-buff her with Flame Shield. You can do Mist Form and Air Shield. You're really going to need the air here. Without that, crossbows will absolutely goink her. She does come with some shock resistance and some fire resistance, and she is flying. She comes with a little bit of gear, so she can help herself by repelling with her length 3 Nodachi. You can give her some armor, and you'd like to, but don't go too heavy because you want that high defense skill here. The Bless itself does help your sacreds out if you need the magic weapon. And awareness, I mean, it's okay. It's nothing remarkable, but the Unsurroundable helps her out quite a bit. So this is another, maybe a little bit of a cheeky expander build. And at construction 3, you can give her a ring of water breathing, and she can go underwater, and she'll do just fine. Especially if you can give her some sort of AoE spell that maybe she can start with or something there. Next up, we have Lucky. Lucky is the White Tiger build. One of his main things is he has an increase in production scales. So I feel like if you're going to take him, you should go production 3. Again, we just have kind of a boring hard skin build. That takes him to 21 protection before self-buffing. Once you self-buff, he'll be safe enough. His danger point is he only has Astral 2. So again, magic duels will absolutely get him killed. So be very careful with that. But he does have stealth, and that's at least a little bit of a cushion there. He has Strength of Autumn, so he will get stronger as you go towards Autumn, which is when you're doing your initial expansion, so that's okay. And he has Fear, so he actually has a way to push that expansion out. So this is, I really actually want scales, but I also need to expand. That's him. Again, Ring of Water Breathing will get him underwater, and he actually has Fear, so I'm less concerned about him not being able to actually win an underwater fight. You're going to want to buff your protection, put Body Ethereal up, and just go to town. He also has enough attacks he can actually kind of kill people and get that route going for himself. Next, we have Cloud Jumper. Cloud Jumper brings in high air for Air Shield. Air Shield is very, very good on our sacred units, both our recruitables and our summonables. You could go for higher in fire by dropping some scales. You could get Righteous Wrath. I think Righteous Wrath is pretty good for us. I didn't, because I felt like I wanted a little bit more scales here. So I went Magic 2 and Production 2. Again, the Okami that we can summon in have magic strength, so this helps them out some. And they like Air Shield quite a bit. And attack skills just good in general. Although our human sacreds don't really need that either. So a little bit of a trade-off there. He does have Domain Immortality, and he's high enough in air he can make an air booster for you, if that's interesting to you. can come in and do either storm or protection from arrows, could do some fire stuff. Just, he brings in some options. We've used a similar build on this before. He functions all right. He just basically just brings in a flying immortal caster for your team. I did take him awake. You could put him to sleep and get yourself some more scales. I think that'd be all right. Or use the going asleep to bump this up to Righteous Wrath, possibly. Next up, we have the Well of Hope. This is a pretty all right expander. He starts at Dormant, so you don't get your Air Shield right away, but you have Strong Vitae and some Blood Surge, and that's going to allow your Sacreds to do okay expanding. They really like that Air Shield, though. His main pull is Air Shield and Weird Scales. He has Turmoil 3, Production 2, Heat 1, Fortune 2, and Magic 3. So we're gambling on lots of good events that are going to give us lots of gems. That's his main thing here. Again, he has the High Air, High Earth, and High Blood. The High Earth allows us to guaranteed summon in those nice magic warrior units. The Blood, we're probably not breaking into Blood, but that's just for Blood Surge. Blood Surge is just so many stats, and it's just generically good for anybody who's Sacred. So protection from crossbows and just a generic stat buff essentially here. I like this guy quite a bit. These scales were fine. I was able to get plenty of troops, and even with the Turmoil 3, I wasn't really feeling particularly pinched. Maybe just make sure you build your forts or your castles where there's a decent population. Finally, we have Hidden Master. Hidden Master is a similar theme, but not going with the blood. He, again, is Dormant. He's bringing in Air Shield and magic weapons and reinvigoration. So he's a lot more focused on a good bless. We have lots of people who have fatigue problems, so reinvigoration will help with that. Air Shield is good. Magic weapons are great. He brings in a little stronger Dominion, just because that's how I spent the points out. And he brings in Production 2. So a little bare bones here, but I like the bless on him. I think that's totally usable. My favorites of these were him, the Well of Hope, Cloud Jumper. I think having Air Shield is so good on this nation. Really, really helps us out because we have no shields anywhere on this nation. If I was going to go with the Expander, Lucky's a classic. Snake is a very boring but safe option. Amaterasu is a little bit more exciting option and has a little more diversity. So I think any of those could work. Let me know which one of these you like. Let me know if you have your own favorite build. I think tons and tons of options there. So very happy about that. In conclusion, man, if this was a middle-aged nation, it would slap. Not only would we have less crossbows to deal with, we hit so bloody hard we could deal with the really high armor of middle age, and the extra gems would really help us out. We have so many cool summons that gems are going to be the choke point more than getting the people available to do the summoning or the boosters needed, etc., etc. As I mentioned earlier, this was my proudest Dominions multiplayer win, was a Yeoman game. I had a Ryuji Thug versus a bomber build Jabolba, and it came down to him having 1 HP left and the enemy Jabolba routing for the winning battle, basically. It was edge of your seat, 1 hour per turn type play. Peak Dominions for me. Overall, I think this is an playable nation. It has a bit of trouble expanding. It has crossbow problems. But if you can overcome those shortfalls, I think there's a lot of good stuff here. And they're very flavorful and fun to play. Let me know what you think a cool build would be. As always, I love that feedback. That's why I do the pregame videos. Beyond that, I hope this was entertaining and informative. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you found it useful. If you're not currently a subscriber, I hope this is the video that earned your subscription. And if you'd like to go above and beyond, you can always leave a super thanks on the video. You can join me live for a super chat or consider becoming a member. As a member of the channel, you get early access to videos I'm working on, such as this one. In addition, if you tie your Discord to your YouTube account, you will have access to a members only text channel that will have things like the random island maps that we used in Dominions, blueprints from other games, turn zero save files, etc., etc. Thank you very much to those of you who support the channel as members or join and give super chats or super thanks. It helps me an absolute ton, absolute ton. I would love to keep expanding the channel, and you guys are making that possible. All right, get out there and think about the glory days of middle age, Yomin. I'll see you guys on stream. Babble out.